Steeped in sporting history, two members of the ancient eight, the Ivy League, Yale and Harvard, renew their rivalry. Two elite schools that have produced 12 U.S. presidents, made countless contributions to the worlds of business, arts, and science, are renewing an athletic rivalry here at the Yale rugby pitch as the Bulldogs of Yale get set to take on the Crimson of Harvard. This is John Broker. I am joined by Liam Quinn and David Kelly for this matchup as we look at some of the fans getting ready for this exciting game. And this is going to be a great one as we take a look at Harvard warming up here. They've come down stacked. You never have to let these guys, know that this rivalry is such a big thing for their alumni, for their players, and they have a key player right there, David.
Yeah, this is Jordan Mubako. He's an electric player. Usually plays fullback. He's on the left wing today. Look out for him for electric pace and the ability to beat people on the outside.
Harvard certainly with a weapon there. If they get the ball on those wider channels, you're going to see him hit and run. Yale here to defend the home turf. Looking good, looking tough, having a good season, building. We'll talk about their coaches in a minute. But Liam Quinn, who should we be looking for?
I've got my eye on Dan Marsh, their number 10 and their captain today. He's played a lot of his rugby in the UK, but that guy, I'll be looking for him to pull the strings and really direct them around the field.
All right, as we look at some of the Yale women's team that played earlier and talk about the referee in a second. As we can look at a transfer of power here. We see Greg McWilliams walking away to the left and Craig Wilson here taking over the head coaching reins at Yale University as Greg has gone off and been an assistant coach with the U.S. Eagles in the World Cup and is now going to be coaching with Rugby United New York and Major League Rugby, taking the next step in his career as the Bulldogs in the white there. You see number 7, Kevin Gallagher. He's a shorter side flanker, but he is a scrappy young fella. You're going to have to watch out for him as we are ready to kick off here. Yale obviously going to be white and blue, and in the black and red is going to be the Crimson of Harvard. Mark Stepsis, the referee. In light blue there, you'll hear Mark from time to time bringing it in. Good local referee. Starting a women's school team at Darien High School, and I actually had the pleasure of coaching with them at Fairfield Prep, place where I coach currently and went to high school. So this all comes full circle. But boys, we are ready to go. We are underway in this ancient rivalry. And Harvard kicks it off to Yale. Yale takes it at their own 22. And off they go, trying to get a quick, fast start here as the ball quickly up to one of their waiting forwards. That's the freshman trying to push it around. Ball goes quickly out to the wing there. Nice little break across the 50-meter line. They're at the 40s, just a bit isolated there. Is Milan Sorensen, the sophomore. Young team out here for both these teams. Marsh, the captain, and fly half steps into the distributor position. Oh. Sorry, that was a Rothman, the sophomore at scrum half. Mistook him for Marsh. And now that man, Dan Marsh, we talked about earlier, has the ball in his hands quickly up to Harry Cassidy, the freshman. The midfield maul just kind of drive that one in. Kevin Gallagher comes in to take that one. Just a little pop-up there. Mateo Beckar-Varela, one of the seniors on this Yale squad. And keeping it on that side of the field are the Yale Bulldogs. Bulldogs taking in the ground. Rothman again moves it out to the big fella. And we have a knock on here from Yale there. That was Tony Garitano knocked that ball on. A little early nerves there. We're going to have a scrum here to Harvard. But I think Yale really looking at they want to run at this one.
That was a pity there that they lost the knock on because they were looking very strong in the carry, really pushing Harvard back.
As we get a look at the first scrum of the day here, referee Stepsis will want to keep this pretty well organized as Adolfo Rocchero, the number 9 and scrum half for Harvard, gets set to put this one in.
And you always want to start with a good first scrum, set the tone for the rest of the day, and get your dominance out on the field.
We talked about the coaches for Yale. We have the coaches from Harvard, Mike Diamantopoulos and Anthony Adam, two accomplished players and coaches working their magic up with the Crimson. Beat Yale in a regular season game as Rocchero gets the ball out there pretty quick. That's the ball into O'Donnell's hands. They go right to Mubako right away. Mubako shows and hangs on to the ball, but turned over quickly. Well done there. That is Milan Sorensen, the sophomore. He takes it across the 22. Rothman, who's about back up to Marsh. Marsh puts that one up there. Clay Thames takes a big solid hit from the Crimson. Puts the ball to Harry Cassidy, another one of the freshmen featuring on this Bulldogs team. Marsh steps one. He's combative. Gets it into the centers there. That's Henry Large.
Marsh is playing him very flat on the line. He's really putting pressure on the defense to pick their opposite man and not miss a tackle.
And a second knock on there by Garetano is going to force another scrum here. But only about 10 meters out from their line, Harvard's going to have the chance to put this one in. Yale a little more dominant on that first scrum. We'll see if they can pick it up here.
Looked very strong in that first scrum. And this is Milan Sorensen. 2 really good runs from him down the left wing. He looked like he started the faster of the 2 wingers.
Big hit comes in there as we get to the end of that replay. Good drive here by Yale, pushing back to their 5-meter line. Referee steps and says that ball is out, let's play. Harvard able to move that one back, but a little pick and go off the back from the scrum half, Rocaro.
Timing was good, never had your hands on it.
That was one of their flankers, sorry. That little pick, but Kevin Gallagher, the Fairfield Prep graduate, picks that one up, and he recycles it for Yale. Yale at the 5-meter line of the Harvard Crimson. Marsh looking for a way through. Garetano had him slightly blocked there. And fully blocked according to the referee. He was dancing a bit behind his big prop, and now they're going to turn over the ball, and Harvard the opportunity to push this one downfield.
Yeah, I like that line speed from Harvard there. They were quick off the line and gave Yale no opportunity to do anything, and Marsh ended up giving the penalty away by ducking back inside the blocker.
Pierce O'Donnell with his first line kick of the day. Sorensen can't keep that one in despite the good attempt. We're going to have a line out for Harvard.
I think we'll have to watch those penalty kicks for touch in future. If you've got to make sure that you make touch and retain your possession.
Dan, get it back.
Yale going to put pressure on up front here. Harvard go to the center of the line. That ball is up to Andrew Lewis, but he can't handle it. The ball comes down in the hands of Ryan Vollmer. And once again on attack are the hometown Bulldogs. Wriggling forward, one of the loose forwards from this Bulldogs team. Marsh, an opportunity to run. Tucks it under, keeps it himself. Trying to keep that defensive bay of the Crimson. Little sideways running here from Mr. Large, the sophomore. Quickly up there to Ethan Coyle, freshman tight head prop, and he rumbles his way up in the middle of the field. They're just in front of the post, just about 20 meters out from the line. Let's see what they can make happen here. Marsh holds, finally lets Thames off with that ball. Ball comes back down to Roth, and they got a couple of runners. Marsh tries to put it up to him, but taken away by Harvard. Will Scheibler, takes that one down.
I think the Yale backs are seeing holes in the Harvard line, and they're testing them right now. Right now, they're sending the passes out, but I'd love to see Denmark take an extra step back inside and maybe keep them honest.
Are we okay this side? Crouch. Bind. Set.
Another scrum goes down. Referee is going to take that one up again. Referee steps this one and keeps it safe here. Little scrum dominance from Yale early on. We'll see how that works on through the game. See a bit of size advantage there. So playing for pride in front of their home crowd on this big Yale-Harvard weekend here at the Yale Rugby pitch in New Haven, Connecticut, just across from the famous Yale Bowl. People out there, this is American football was invented by a Yale rugby coach about 100 yards from where we're standing, believe it or not. Walter Camp took a perfectly good game and ruined it. Now American football certainly has the ascendancy in Walter Camp Gate just near here. And these two teams playing for over 130 years, one of the marquee rivalries in American sports.
It's not your typical fly half type of play, taking a crash ball first phase, but see how it works out for him now as he recycles.
Inside their own 22, finally getting a little head of steam here are the Harvard Crimson. They work their way across now.
Take it back, take it back.
Taken back inside the 22. O'Donnell just goes to the boot, tries to find a little space there. Knocked on in the attempt there. Mubako couldn't quite handle it either. We'll come back. Should be a scrum here to Yale. Just about 35, 40 meters out from the Harvard line, and they've had all the territory so far. Only 7.5 minutes in, but really camped down in this Crimson half as we take another look.
Crouch.
Couldn't quite see it, but well spotted space there.
Fine.
Building in behind.
Yale can use this as a platform to build for a play here, I think. The dominance in their scrum and get the ball to the far left touchline.
And a huge Yale scrum. It looked like it was taken against the head by the Harvard Crimson, but they're okay. And Marsh holds on to it once again, really not releasing his outside backs yet. Harvard defense keeping them in there as Rothman puts a long one in. Rothman again, they're going to work this side.
The ruck now.
The ball comes up to the big number 4 there. That's the senior Alex O'Neill taking that one in. Rothman again finds a runner. Marsh one more time. He takes a lot of hits, this boy. Not afraid to have a run. There's the ball up again to Ryan Vollmer.
Yeah, Yale are using their forward pod system really well at the minute to good advantage.
And a referee is going to spot an offsides there, and they're going to go, and Marsh is going to head for the line. Marsh, he's over. Can he get the ball down? He's touched it down. Try awarded. Yale University gets the first points of this contest. 5-0 over the Crimson. Heads up play by that man, Dan Marsh.
You really got to stay on top of him in the plays there. As Dave was saying earlier, that Yale could use that scrum to build a platform, and as they move through the phases, they're really dragging players out of position, and then you get to capitalize it on if people aren't paying attention.
Yeah, that was a back try completely created by the forwards. Their dominance across the gain line and opened up the space then for Dan Marsh to see the gap and get through.
And there we have a look again. Just a fast asleep Crimson defense as the Bulldogs just slide through here.
Nice to see a back give forward the credit there, but as we always say, forwards win or lose the game and backs decide by how much.
Marsh to convert his own try. And it's good. It's 7-0. Yale leads the Harvard Crimson just a few minutes into this matchup. Plenty more action to go. Harvard's really going to want to reply here.
Yeah, they got to come back strong off the kickoff.
That's a tough first 10-15 minutes there. Really taking a lot of abuse in the contact. And you really want to get out now and show them what you can do with the ball in your hands.
Yeah, I think first focus for Harvard has to be getting to Yale territory, put the ball in the corner and work out from there.
We've seen that Harvard's out halves playing with a heads-up game, looking for space in behind the Yale guys. So they're not afraid to play a kicking and running game, look at different ways of getting in there.
Look at our try scorer as he's directing the troops again. And O'Donnell's going to put a longer one in just outside the 22, finds some ground, finds another one of his own players, but Yale able to scoop that one up. Almost dangerous territory. Big run coming for Varela. Mateo Bacar-Varela, the senior, makes it all the way to the 22 until Mubako drags him to the ground. A little quick pick and go, trying to get that defense more disorganized as O'Neill.
Get back.
Rothman now moves the ball to Marsh. Marsh puts it in the big fella's hands, but he can't quite handle it. We're going to come back for an offsides penalty, and Marsh, no bones about it. He wants more tries. That is a not 10 inside the 22, impeding that play. Not sure if he can go quick, according to referee Stepsis. And I believe we may be seeing a yellow card. Let's listen to what the referee has to say.
Okay.
Oh, we just lost him for a second there. Referee Stepsis.
We've lost him, but it seems like he's just given a final warning. No more penalties in that area, otherwise it will be a yellow card.
Any penalties when you guys are on the attack?
Oh, there he goes again. Yep, so just letting him know that there's been multiple penalties here and was
Robbie,
kind
we
enough
good?
not to issue
Robbie,
a yellow
we good?
card.
Wait for me. Okay, go. Yep.
And underway we go again. Marsh moves it out quickly, puts one of the big fellas through, and it's Large. Henry Large, the sophomore, touches down, and we're at 12-0. Yale, all the run of play right now. That's a happy man coming back from a relatively easy try.
That's a real old school show of confidence there to take the tap and go penalty when the team is recovered and has had 30 seconds to catch their breath. Not tactical, not going for the scrum where they've been so dominant. They just tapped it and went.
Harvard had let me down there. I was talking about the strength of their defense just 2 minutes ago, and that was a really soft try.
The rivalry here is just so intense. These two schools, I mean, the Bush clan are all Yale people. The Kennedy clan are all, a lot of them are Harvard people, although
think we saw Harvard getting drawn away from just getting fooled a little bit there by a fake pod after the scrum to the out half's right.
Yeah, I was just going to finish up saying that the tribe are part of the Kennedy clan, also Yale folks, but a lot of rugby folks in those families. And this rivalry is just, they're going to go for that tap. They're going to go for that try. They want more than just to win this game. There's a lot in this, a lot riding on it, a lot of pride. These teams are always looking for that edge.
There's a little bit of vinegar in this one.
As 12-0 now, Yale leads Harvard. Kick was no good. Harvard to kick off one more time. Going to want to clean up those penalties. I'm sure Coach Diamantopoulos and Anthony Adam are going to address that at halftime with this, as this time Yale comes down with it into the hands of the scrum half, Rothman. Rothman able to keep himself alive, make a few more meters there after the contact. Another quick pick and go. Yale looking to just make a little space in this Harvard defense. Marsh picks that one up. One hand offload to the try scorer, large. Gets just inside the 50-meter line. A little show and go there from a pod of forwards. They've reset, looking to get some runners going. Marsh finds a big man. This time he has no problem with it. Garitano takes it to the 50-meter line. They're going to keep working this right-hand side of the field. Excellently well done there. That time it slips out of Lucas Wiseman's hands. And a knock on, nothing materializing. Referee steps is going to bring down another scrum here, this time for the Crimson.
Yeah, I think Yale have got license to try as much as they want here. They're dominating the scrums, looking like they might turn over one or two. They've got the chance to try a few passes.
Good. Keep working.
Garitano's starting to look very comfortable on the ball
Crouch!
and in contact. Apart from that first knock on early, I think he could be a real tool later in this game.
Ear to ear.
He's a senior, and he's just gotten more physical and in better condition every year. Really playing well as Garitano.
Set.
Ball in there. Another dominant scrum from the Bulldogs. In all sorts of trouble here is Harvard. No scrum penalty coming.
It's out now.
And they've had to pick it up and just go quick. They're going too
Back
quick for their own good.
Back up.
As Rothman
Step
takes
back.
that one forward. Another little pick and go. They spotted some space there. Yale's forwards just making the hard yards right now is Ethan Coyle.
Ruck now to Ruck.
The tight head.
It's out.
Ball out to Rothman. Rothman finds the big number 8, Vollmer. Vollmer steadily into contact. Another quick pick and go. Cassidy, good work on the ground, not to turn that one over. And Marsh has found some more space. Marsh is going to step inside. Marsh looking for a runner, and he finds him in Large. Large has already scored one. Large is in for 2. Try awarded Yale Bulldogs as they extend their lead here. And the excitement keeps building for Henry Large.
Yeah, you're finding Dan Marsh is really dictating the state of play, where they're going, where the gaps are, and where they're attacking.
Oh, you can see it written all over Large's face. He's delighted. Like you were saying about this rivalry, it really means a lot to him to get over the line and just stick it to the other team.
Another look at it there. Marsh, just good job finding that space. Good awareness that Large was going to be there. Another angle of it here. Just slips through that, puts the ball in one hand. Just good awareness that Large would be around.
It's really tough to fight that too, because the more your confidence grows, the more the aggression kicks into the game and the confidence, and they're going to try extra things.
Yeah, he just faded outside of Rollo there, took the wide pass and offloaded then to Large as he came through.
And another kick is no good there. We're at 17-0. However, the Bulldogs over the Crimson in this ancient matchup between these two great universities here in New Haven, Connecticut on Next Level Rugby Productions.
I'm sure Dan Marsh won't mind too much missing those conversions if the tries keep coming the way they are. Harvard now have got to stick together and really just make use of this possession. They lost it so quickly last time, and Yale came right back at them.
Another ball goes to the ground in the kickoff. That's a one little area. You'd have to say Yale's not completely shoring up at the moment. Ball's out. Garitano quickly played over it. Great work there by the hooker Cassidy, a freshman. Takes that ball back. Ball quickly in the hands of Large. Large puts a little over-the-top pass in there to his center partner, Wiseman. Wiseman moves it out to the wing. Coming in to clean that up, but leaving themselves a nice wide-open part of the field are the Bulldogs. That one's taken a little high by Marsh. He's held up Ball ripped away by the Crimson. Little attempted kick through by O'Donnell. Doesn't work. Alex O'Neill, tall timber there. Certainly getting up in front of that ball. And a penalty this time against the Crimson for not rolling away from that tackle, allowing the tackled player to use it.
I really would have liked to see Harvard just retain possession there and just take it right back at them.
Garitano tapped it and had to have the referee tell him, son, you tapped it. You've got to go. And now they're at the 50-meter line. Rothman finds a waiting set of forwards. Another little show and go there from the number 6, Clay Thames, a sophomore. Quickly out again into the centers. At the outside center, Wiseman takes that one in. Lucas Wiseman on the wing will be Jackson Wiseman. And now it's in Jackson Wiseman's hands. He's looking for some room to run. They're just outside the 22, not held in the tackle. Or he was held in the tackle, according to referee Stepsis. And we're going to have a penalty here against the Yale Bulldogs and Lubako. Thought he's about taking it quickly there.
Yale backs really look like they're starting to enjoy their rugby now. Tapping, going, having goes at guys and try to step around them.
And that space all came from Dan Marsh again. He's really controlling the game.
We are going to have a line out here to the Crimson, just about 42, 43 meters out from their line. As we take another look at Marsh here, he really is just pushing that ball.
Oh, he's got great hands and ability to do two things in the tackle: absorb the hit and move the ball off and set someone else up.
You see Virut Kohli there making some signals at the front of the line out, the number 1 for Harvard. They're just looking for a rugby ball.
Tends to be useful in this situation.
Yeah, pretty important part of the game.
Harvard are going to have to play to the referee as well. If he's calling that the ball's out, they're going to have to play what he's telling them and take it and go.
Harvard cleanly down with that one to Scheibler. O'Donnell moves it out in the centers. We haven't seen much of the Harvard backs yet today. Bako steps a little, finds his way through a half gap, but eventually torn down. Penalty coming here against Mubako, not releasing. Good work by that Yale offense to get in there. Force that penalty, and Marsh is going to elect to kick this one downfield. He'll have a line out just 15, 16 meters out as we take a look here. Quick hands over. Good work there by Clay Thames.
Yeah, he did really well to get over the ball quickly there. Watch his body position as he goes in. Low to the ground, right on top of the ball, and he's immovable at that stage.
Hold, back. It's a maul.
The referee pointed out it's a maul. And Yale keeping this one going, keeping it alive. Good work. Kevin Gallagher has the ball at the back there. They're rumbling towards the line. They're just a couple of meters out now. See where they decide to go. Gallagher would love to get this one over the line if he can. Referee making sure that the Harvard players are offsides. Gallagher is going to have to turn this one over. Now the ball's in Marsh's hands. Marsh has to hang on to it himself.
You really can't leave him a gap inside. He's so dangerous with the step back.
Try awarded Yale University, this time through the forwards. After some good hard grafting work there, touches it down. Don't have the number of that try score, but a number of 8 men can take credit for that, boys, certainly, but good work by Yale.
Yeah, I think it was Clay Thames.
Just pressure telling over time. Guys doing the right thing and doing it carefully and not giving away cheap possession.
And it is Thames that scores that try, gets one in for the forwards. Yale extends their lead again. Really, really good early days for the Yale Bulldogs here in their home ground.
Yeah, you could tell from that line out, the backs had no interest in taking the ball. That was going to be forwards ball the whole time. They did a really solid drive, made a load of ground, and recycled the ball for Thames to get over the line.
Coach Wilson and outgoing Coach McWilliams be pleased with this, joined by Brad Dufek on the sidelines. And another kick, no good, but no matter for this Bulldogs team as 22-0. They are up. We're halfway through the first half of action here at Next Level Rugby in this Yale-Harvard Ancient 8 matchup. And Harvard's got to get something together, boys. There's going to be a long evening for them.
Well, what do they do at this stage? Someone's got to pull them together, say, guys, let's pull this back. Let's get something on the board and start from there. Let's chip away at this. But giving away cheap possession is just going to knock back confidence, and it's just going to snowball from there.
Shorter kick that time. Garitano can't handle it. It's up in the hands of Luke Steven. Full back there. They have an advantage. Balls come out, but referee will come back for that. Volmer would have been thrilled to get away with it, but knock on by the Bulldogs. Going to be a scrum here for the Crimson.
I think I owe Garitano an apology. I jinxed him there when I said to look out for him. He's had a couple of mistakes since.
Ball up to the Crimson again there. Ball comes around, and Harvard on the run now. Rocchero takes that one forward. Harvard trying to pull some things together. They're on the touchline. A little bit of a complaint there from O'Donnell.
Let's get the stuff off the back here, please. Okay. We'll penalty here for high tackle.
We're going to come back for a high tackle penalty.
High tackle.
And penalty against Yale for a high tackle. Came creeped in there. We're going to have Harvard ball. Again, they're waiting for a rugby ball. Liam pointed out it's a pretty important part of a rugby game.
Yeah, he's up at the left. Val's at the left. At halftime, we can go to halftime. Chris,
Yale pushes that one downfield. We're going to have a line out. Harvard pushes that one downfield. They're going to line out for the Crimson, still inside their own half, where they have spent most of their time in these 25 minutes. But an opportunity to go on the run here. Let's see if Big Mateo Picard Varela can get up in this one. The number 5 for Yale. Very good defensive line-out player. And shows his stuff right there as the ball comes down into Rothman's hands, and he has to take it into contact. Good work to get to the ground. Ball comes to Kevin Gallagher. Gallagher.
I think that throw was a bit hot there for a jumper at the very front of the lineout.
Tackle! Release him!
Referee asks the players to release. It's going to be Yale ball here, no problem. Rothman gets that ball up to Marsh. Marsh quickly to the wing there. That was Sorensen. Haven't seen him get into full flight yet. Rothman just pops it up there to the big fella O'Neill. O'Neill offloads. That's the freshman Ethan Coyle. Ethan Coyle showing some speed for a big fella. Gets across the 22. They've got quick ball. Marsh, where's he going to go with this one? Gets it to his other prop, Garitano, a senior and a freshman on either side of that front row. Really showing here for this Bulldogs team. Marsh controlling it again. You can see that Harvard defense just queuing on him, and he's able to step out of that one. Might have untied his shoes on the way through, but he seems okay.
Oh, you're on the ground, you're playing it.
Marsh showing good hands there to pick that one up off the ground. A poor pass from the 9, and he rescued it.
And Ubako is going to go quick with this one from inside his own 22. Not sure if he can get through all 15 of these Bulldogs, but he's certainly going to try as he's in another tough position here. Good work on the ground to recycle that ball by Harvard, and they've popped it up to one of their big boys. This is what they need to do, is get on the run with players like Gavin Prentice, the number 3, taking that ball into contact right there. Now it's out to O'Donnell. O'Donnell looks one way, shifts the other, puts it in the hands of Andrew Lewis. Andrew Lewis meets a full force of a couple of front rowers there from the Bulldogs as they try to hold him up. Ball's been taken away there. Thames does some really good work in those contact areas. He got his hands in there and eventually took it away. Marsh puts it to Volmer. Volmer puts it up to O'Neill. O'Neill looking for somebody to get the ball to. Gets it back to Volmer, but it slipped forward possibly. And we're going to have a scrum here outside their 22. You can really see these Yale players just trying to get that little interplay.
Yeah, I think that's probably an example of quite naive play from Harvard. They had a penalty in their own 22. They decided to run it. They're 22 points down at this stage. They need to get the ball downfield, exert some pressure and make Yale pay, but they've now turned it over inside their own half once again.
And taking the ball into contact too. You don't want to be running into a tackle, standing up straight with the ball available to the other guys. They're going to strip it from you every time.
Offensive scrums have not gone so well for Harvard yet in this game. We'll see how this one goes. The Crimson quickly get that ball to the back, but the squeeze comes on from Yale. There it is, and it's Rothman. Rothman looking for someone to offload that too. Nearly wriggles through, gets up to Marsh. Marsh, he's just about 4 or 5 meters out. He's right at the line, can't get his hand across. Let's see who raises their hand to try to take this one in. It's one of the big units. And there they are, try awarded again for the Bulldogs. And they are starting to rack up the score here as it's the big man. I think that was Ryan Vollmer scoring the try. And a good work there by the Yale team.
Yeah, this all comes from the original Yale scrum. Look how dominant they are. This is on opposition ball to turn it over like that. And it's just 2 short offloads. One to Dan Marsh and then one to off the base of this ruck, and it's try time.
Yeah, you would have been.
And everything Yale do, they're doing all the little things right. You see Dan Marsh gets tackled there, but he gets an extra 5 or 6 meters, and that makes so much then when you're right in front of the line for the next breakdown and play.
Right in front that time. Marsh is able to hit that one. Yale extends their lead. As we get into the later parts of this first half here on Next Level Rugby, this Yale-Harvard exciting matchup on Yale-Harvard weekend. Lots more to come, 29-0. They have pushed their lead to comfortably. Harvard really needs to put something together here in this half. More than just pride on the line for these boys.
And we've seen Harvard have electric players. They've got Mubako on the wing, but they need to set him up and give him an opportunity.
Yeah, they need to go through some phases. They're just, going for the knockout punch every time instead of setting it up a little bit. Let the big boys rumble a bit. Be good as we're just under the 30-minute mark. 10 minutes to go in this first half of Ancient 8 action. Big powering run there. That freshman Ethan Coyle making his presence known, but spilling it in the tackle eventually. Just a bit unlucky. Be a scrum here for Harvard with an opportunity.
About 9 minutes.
Take another look at it here.
Looking for the offload. Just trying a little bit too hard.
With stop time, you got to replace contact lens. You get water, right? We'll restart with from the left.
The old contact lens issue here. We're going to take just a moment to get this back together. The team's just discussing what to do here.
Make sure the drive is forward.
Yeah, I think Yale need to keep the ball in the forward pack. They're making all their yardage that way, and find a way to release their backs. And Dan Marsh from that point, once they made some ground. From Harvard's side, they need to retain possession for a couple of phases. Maybe play in the Yale half a little bit more and make them force errors in Yale's territory.
Looks like our contact lens is back in, and we're going to get ready to go here. Referee Steps has had just a couple of words there with the forwards of Yale, making sure they're driving straight through those scrums. Sometimes when you're barreling through with that much power, it's a bit hard to control where your body's going. But I'm sure they'll get that sorted out.
Okay.
You see Kevin Gallagher talking to his tight 5 there, urging him on. He wants another powerful scrum. Love another turnover here. They can see the post right in front of them. And Harvard puts that one in, and quickly it comes back. Stolen right away that time. Marsh goes to the air this time, puts it in the corner. Little pressure on. What a nice little rolling kick. Mubako can't do anything. It's going to be a pressure line out for Harvard just to their own 5-meter line.
Put the flag up.
That's very smart play, and it's exactly what Harvard should be doing on the far end.
Heads up, find the space and go for it, rather than running aimlessly and tiring guys out.
Dan Marsh loves to have a run. He loves to have a go. He's a real aggressive player. Plays twice his size, but he's also smart. He takes it, he varies his options, puts one down there, just rolls it in the corner. They got the big number 5 here that has stolen away a couple, and that's Thames that winds up in his hand. So they really put some pressure on the set piece of Harvard, forced him to go over the top that time and get the just rewards. Here they go with an opportunity for another try. He's off to the left-hand side. They work that ball quickly. That's O'Neill in in the middle of that one.
Ball's right there. It's slow already. It's slow already.
Referee talking to the players, trying to look for that ball. Large has already scored one. Large heading across field this time. You can see some American football bona fides there, taking the ball a bit sideways, but it works out in the end. And another try for Henry Large. He is really featuring in this game. That's at least 2, if not 3 for him.
Yeah, you can tell the confidence. He's not worried about running laterally because he knows he can beat these guys. That the confidence is so high.
You'd all appreciate being in the booth with a couple of guys who grew up with rugby and non-American footballs. He started to run sideways. There was some head shaking. What in the world is this guy doing? Sure enough, he makes it around the end, touches it down. Try awarded. Yale extend their lead.
Yeah, you're taught very young only to run in straight lines, north-south, up and down the field. There's no sideways stuff. But if you see a gap and it ends up in a try, then a lot of things are forgiven.
We are late in the first half. Marsh, another opportunity. Marsh, left-footed kicker, slots that one through, slots that one across. No good anyway.
Just short.
Yeah. Hasn't quite brought his kicking boots with him, but everything else is certainly there as Yale continue to extend.
It's got to be a tough surface to kick on as well. Trying to find firm footing.
34-0. The Bulldogs lead the Crimson here at the Yale Rugby pitch. Beautiful Westville section of New Haven. It's crossing the historic Yale Bowl. O'Donnell. See if Yale can come down with this one cleanly. Have done. And the big unit Coyle rumbles his way, rolls over, takes one. Marsh looking across field. They're going to try to run this. Gets it out to Large. Large taken down that time. Little chip through for Sorensen to run onto, but straight in a touch. They're going to have a scrum here. A line out here for Harvard.
Yeah, I think they spotted a mismatch in the center. The Harvard center is quite a small guy, and Large is going after him a fair bit.
This side.
Late in this first half, this is, in my opinion, a must-have for Harvard right here. If you want to get into this game, you need to make something happen. This is one of your only times in the Yale half during this first half of action. So they're going to want to get this in as they put the ball up to number 4, and nothing happened as it bounced off the back there. They do have ball. No problem. A little axe chopping coming in from Matt Hawes as he's trying to head towards the line.
Hold here.
Trying to swat away some tacklers. The ball comes up to Harper. And now the Harvard forwards on the grind. And taken away by Kevin Gallagher. That's 2 or 3 for that man right there. Tremendous work so far as Garitano picks it up, and he hands off one, finally hauled down by Harper.
Yeah,
We're going to come back penalty against here. And it is Crimson ball, and the big man Prentice. Prentice is going to head towards the 22. He attracts 2 or 3 defenders, finally gets taken down by Nick Weinberger, the sophomore fullback for Yale. O'Donnell this time kicks one through, comes down into the hands of Rothman. Rothman might have been wise to call a mark on that one, but Yale going to have a run.
Don't interfere with it. It's slow.
Yeah, if your forwards are doing all that hard work, getting you good possession, they really appreciate. I think they're going to want their out half to do to get more of a return on a kick than that, than straight into the fullback's hands.
And Dan Marsh stepped in at the scrum half position alone, put in a box kick, found the space, got it back into the hands of a Yale player, and they're on the attack, and there goes Marsh. He's inside the 40-meter line after some great individual work. He is really showing here as the ball comes at the Large. Large puts in a pass, gets it to the hard-working Clay Thames. Ball quickly out to Harry Cassidy, a freshman hooker. 2/3 of their front row are freshmen here at Yale. They'll be pretty pleased with that as the ball comes to the Vollmer. Vollmer, great hands to get that ball away. Puts it in the hands of Weinberger. Weinberger gets it down to Rothman. Who's he looking for? He finds Kevin Gallagher. Kevin Gallagher taken down in the first tackle. That ball may be turned over there by the Crimson. Bit of a mess of a ball on the ground, but it looks like the Bulldogs are going to come up with it after a little back and forth. Gallagher again.
That's a high tackle.
Taking to the high tackle there. Referee's going to call time off. Somebody maybe seen a few minutes. Referee Stepsis
He's going to his pocket.
shuffling the deck, comes out with the yellow card. And the number 12, that's a tough guy to lose for Harvard right there. Michael Bacher is going to spend 10 minutes in the bin.
Yeah, this has been coming for some time. The ref warned them a couple of minutes ago about the number of penalties. I'm not sure he was onside the first time, and then he was hugely high on that tackle.
Yeah, he's not coming from the gate through the back of the. He was offside from the start, and then a dangerous tackle. It's a good decision.
It'll be a penalty as well. They're going to be shorthanded for 10 minutes, are the Crimson. Look at the two coaches there. Mike Diamond topless in the red jacket, Anthony Adam.
We got the guilty man.
Yale deciding what they want to do here with this penalty opportunity.
12 off the yellow card. High tackle right here. Too many. Okay, yep.
He's on the other side, so my
Referee asked what they want to do. It looks like they're
Maybe
going to
taken care of.
Yale on this penalty going to call for a scrum, try to open up the field. Remember, they're one defender short out there are the Crimson, so a great opportunity for a runner like Large to find some space. The so far dominant Yale scrum, see how they do on this one.
That particular part of the field looks like it might be cut up a little bit. Surprised he's not moving it into a drier part.
Networking right now.
An interesting turn of events here as Harvard won the regular season game against Yale during the Ivy League season here in the Pride match on this Yale-Harvard weekend. As referee saying about 2 minutes to go in this half, Yale certainly has the ascendancy.
Set.
Rothman has his hands on that one. More stable there as they come around that side, and Large takes a pass he can't quite handle from Marsh. We have an advantage here to the Crimson as time is winding down in this first half. 34-0. Harvard facing a big deficit here. Here they seem to come up with it, and Baco has to come in and work that one. Ball comes up to the hard-running Gavin Prentice. Prentice has an advantage, probably a high tackle penalty.
You're up right at deck.
Garetano, the offending player, just kind of rode up there in his tackle, but zero tolerance as it would be. Ball comes down to O'Donnell. They move out to Mbako. Mbako moves it out. Can they make something happen here as it's Tarek Habash, number 7 there for the Crimson. And Ricaro
Tap goal, release.
gets it up. Yale players told to release there. Harvard right at the end of this first half, just looking to make something happen. Pop up there from O'Donnell to Prentice. Prentice always makes a little bit of ground, showing well for this Crimson team.
Harvard doing well with 14 men. They're really tying the phases together for the first time in this game.
Doing it right here. Yeah, they could use that extra player. We'll see if that comes into effect as the ball spills out there. Knock-ons going either way. And referee Stepsis is going to whistle for the end of our first half. It is Yale 34, Harvard 0. Second half action of this Ancient 8 massive matchup to come. We're going to step away for just a few minutes, and we'll be back with second half action here on Next Level Rugby.
Hey everybody, it is 2019 and in 2018 Next Level Rugby was all over the country and the world, bringing you coverage of our sport up close and personal. It all started in Denver, then headed out to Vegas, and then next thing you know, we're in New York City, Japan, Austin, Texas, and a bunch of other places all across the country. But we would really like to thank the players, our fans, and most importantly, our partners that are helping to drive the growth of American rugby here in the United States and beyond. So let's just take a look at some of the shots that, we really loved and fell in love with, and, what made 2018 a special year is going to make 2019 even better. We're looking forward to what 2019 brings, and stay tuned. And remember, every day is a rugby day.
It's great. We all love each other. We all like hanging out at these tournaments.
Just meeting so many new people and getting to know them is just amazing. And meeting so many new friends, it's definitely.
Nah, one word is family. Like, you got people like you can depend on.
Probably my favorite part of playing rugby is like I can forget any problem I'm having at school or at home or just any kind of worry or burden and just like give it my all on the field.
We all choose to come here. We don't have to be here, you know. It's just good fun coming out on a Sunday, playing, getting all together, and just great.
All right, so yeah, I think it's the fact that we can play very hard, smack each other up, boom each other, and just eat good and talk to laugh with each other after.
So, one thing that rugby has done for you?
It's brought up a lot of my confidence. I wasn't very confident in middle school, and I knew that if I wanted to become a better player, I would have to bring up my game, which I did, and I've just become so much like a better person to myself. I see myself in such a bigger light, and I'm honestly so much happier playing rugby.
I ain't gonna lie, if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would like be around here, to be honest. So I guess family.
New York Rugby Club is a great community because they put you around great people such as Alex, my coach Alex, and he teaches me more about rugby, how I can make my game better every day and elevate it to the next.
Nah, but like, you feel me? But like, I bet like you know how the hood is, so you know like it's crazy.
Backwards,
we are underway in the second half, 40 minutes to go. Harvard, a long road back here. The Crimson playing for pride. They have a yellow-carded player right now. And quickly on the run go the Bulldogs. Bulldogs now.
And if you're Harvard, you're looking at what you can possibly do to get back into this game and get a foothold going.
Yeah, I think they need to be more physical in the centres. Stop Large and stop Marsh.
You got to get your forwards to build you a platform so your backs can attack off that, right? So we saw what they were really making hay with in the end of the first half was
There's no fucking god person on a fucking camera.
was when forwards were stringing a couple of plays.
Right, we can hear you. So we have a little malfunction here, a little technical difficulties. Try scored there, looks like by the Bulldogs.
Who are you on for?
Harvard on the post again, really talking about what's going to happen. That's 39. Passion conversation coming in here from the Crimson. We're in second half action. So now we have a second. Let's go to you were talking about what Harvard needs to do here.
Yeah, and this is probably the last thing they needed was a try straight from kickoff, but they need to be way more aggressive in their defence, especially in that 10, 12, 13 channel. That's where all of the tries be coming through in the forwards and in the 10, 12 channel.
Yeah, rugby is a sport. If you're not aggressive in the contact, you're going to start losing collisions. Those things mount up, and you start losing yards and yards. They got to be more aggressive in contact, and then I'd really love to see him string a couple of phases together, and then maybe unleash Mubako on the wing, because he's a winger who they're using in tight.
Yeah, we haven't seen Mbako in full flight yet. We'd certainly like to see him get a good run in here. And Harvard string the stays together. But down 39-0 right now to the Bulldogs. We just start the second half. Still a person down. And, for Yale, you must just have to say more of the same, right? Just keep that head of steam. Keep disorganizing that Crimson defense. Put the ball out to the speedsters. Get it in Marsh's hands. Been pretty successful so far. And good day so far for the Bulldogs. The Crimson have a little work to do here as Pierce O'Donnell, fly half, puts in a kickoff here into the lights. Well taken down by the Bulldogs, and they're on the move again. That was the big man, Alex O'Neill. O'Neill featuring this game, really coming along in his game under the tutelage of Greg McWilliams for several years. Won't play the full season next year for Coach Wilson. Will be graduating as the ball gets kicked to Mubako. Let's see if that is a good idea or not. Mubako steps a couple. He's a rangy fella. He gets through that tackle, no problem. Keeps his feet, getting dragged towards the sideline. Can he keep it in? Over the touchline, it looks like he goes, but ball still in. Good work to keep it alive. Referee says play on, overruling his assistant referee. But turned over there, and it's Garitano, the big unit, gets the ball up and into the hooker's hands. Into Ethan Coyle's hands, the tight head prop. Rothman, a little show and go.
Mumako's going to need more support than that. He can't do it all by himself.
And Rothman, a little mistake there as ball just torn away by the Crimson defender there, and ball comes up into the hands of Matt Hawes from Harvard. Mubako stepped into the distributor position. He's going across the field. Looks like he's ready to take on all 15 of these Bulldogs should he need to. The ball comes up to one of the reserves at Harvard, and they are just going backwards as the ball gets into O'Donnell's hands. O'Donnell met by a couple of tacklers there. Ball rolling wildly, taken away by Alex O'Neill, and off they go on the run again. That's Thames. Thames, such a hard worker in the contact area, coming up with a lot of work here as the ball goes to Marsh.
There's got to be space wide here. There has to be.
Turned over again. A little bit messy in this beginning of this second half as Yale has their hands on it. Yale now. Big Alex O'Neill runs away, and the big man is going to get some rewards. And Alex O'Neill touches down. That is, sorry, that's Varela. Excuse me, I had the wrong name there. That's Matteo Becar Varela. A big handoff and just rumbles his way in.
I thought Harvard was starting to build momentum there with 2 steals on the ground. I'm going to be watching that now to see maybe if they're starting to get a bit of parity on the ground, but it makes no odds if you don't secure the possession after that.
So change the kicker as well.
Yeah, we have a new kicker in here for the Bulldogs. Apologies, we don't have the reserve names here, so we're going to just be calling some people by numbers. Our apologies.
Right-footed kicker.
He had, in the last one, he was pretty close, just it's a little off the target. He's certainly got more distance than Marsh does on his kicks. Puts that one up, and that one's no good as well, but wouldn't seem to be a problem for the Bulldogs as their lead is pretty substantial at this point. 44 points. Bit of a disappointment for the Harvard's women's team last weekend became national champions, beating Army West Point in intercollegiate rugby conference that they play in. So a little bit different fortunes for some of the teams. Replacement made for Harvard there. We're going to be, whoever that guy is, he's going to be Eric Van Winkle. As ball comes in for Yale here. Yale, their own 22, get the ball back to Marsh. Marsh is going to hoof that one downfield. Finds a little open space again. Just tremendous. Mubako has to come across on it. Mubako's got a number of players chasing him. Tries to turn around and come back to this right-hand side. Good handoff there. Works his way through one, but eventually 2 or 3 are going to bring him to the ground.
Let it go to Rock. Back.
As good as he is in attack, he's got a bit of better spatial awareness. And just not give Dan Marsh those spots to kick the ball into.
Gavin Prentice takes that one in. The big tight head prop ball showed by O'Donnell there. O'Donnell looking for somewhere to go. Gets whipped to the ground by Garetano. Referee Steps is going to blow the whistle. Garetano and O'Donnell having a little friendly conversation.
A bit of handbags there.
Yeah.
I don't fancy fronting up to Tony Garetano when he's got that look in his eye.
Just a, bit of debate between these two intelligent young men on the field there. As we come back to an offsides penalty against the Bulldogs. Be a penalty here for the Harvard Crimson. As the yellow card is over, they're back to full strength. They're going to keep that ball alive and get it to Adam Harper. Adam Harper comes in, and another penalty there against the Bulldogs. Look at a high tackle penalty. As this time they're going to try to go wide. O'Donnell offloads that one eventually to Prentice. Prentice gets across the 22. Harvard now stringing together a few phases, looking just a bit better here. Ball knocked on by Yale there. Referee Stepsis did say he was out, so all fine for them to play, but they did knock it on. So it was scrum here for the Harvard Crimson just inside the 22. Let's see if their halftime chat about the state of their scrum was effective.
Based in the first half, they've got to be looking to keep the ball away from set piece. Line-out scrum's been pretty poor from them in the first half, and they want to get the ball in and out here as quick as possible, not give Yale a chance to get him back over there on line.
Yeah, you want to stick it up your jumper, recycle quickly, keep the ball moving, and don't give Yale a chance to regain their form and their shape in defense.
Bind. Gotta have bind. Must bind. Set.
Rocchero, that one's steady. It's like an uncontested scrum, actually. I'm not sure how we got that, but O'Donnell tries to pull a Marsh with a little show and go there, but the gap does not materialize for him. Yale defense a little slow to get around the corner there, left a little bit of room, and Matt Hawes is going to certainly take advantage of that as the Crimson on the run now. A little pressure coming in on that scrum, but back up they go. Wriggling their way forward as they can. They're at the 22. Can they unlock the defense eventually? Adam Harper runs into a committed Yale defender there.
Nope.
The referee steps his spots. Pretty blatant offsides from Mr. Marsh. He's going to penalize, and they're going to go quickly. Harvard really wants these points. O'Donnell puts it through right into the hands of the waiting Nick Weinberger, the sophomore, and he shows his way around one. Rothman gets that ball up to Thames. He's well hit by Prentice. Ball and man at the same time. Not the funnest thing to have happen to you. Garetano takes it up a couple of meters. Another pick coming from his front row partner, Coyle. Boy, he has a lot to work with right there. Finally taken down just over halfway by the Harvard defense. Marsh, can he go wide and find somebody? He has done. Finds his reserve. Gets it in the hands of that man, Sorensen. Sorensen again closed down for space. Ball up again. They're going to keep trying to go with it here. That was Lucas Wiseman. Took that one in. They get the ball up to one of their freshman sensation front rowers there, and Harry Cassidy. Cassidy gets that one to the ground. Maybe turned over here by the Crimson. Have done. That's Tariq Habash. That ball in, ball out quickly. Prentice offloads there to Mubako. Mubako.
Did not survive.
Not too much room to operate in there. As a big hit comes in there on Hawes. Mubako offloads. Mubako gets it into some space that time. The field's closing down, however, and the pass can't quite go to hand for Van Winkle. And Eric Van Winkle knocks that one on. We're going to have a scrum here for the Yale Bulldogs. They get out of that one. Harvard, a little more possession this half, doing a little bit more with the ball. Haven't quite gotten what they want out of it as it tries, but certainly playing a little better.
There's some promising stuff there. They're starting to string phases together. Guys are getting involved and actually gaining yards. They're doing a lot of dragging Yale over and back across the field. But
yeah, it looks like they've made a decision not to kick at all. Retain the ball, retain possession. If they do that, they're putting some phases together. It looks not too bad. A chance of getting a couple of tries out of it.
And then we saw as soon as they did kick, they gave up possession again. So it looks like that's a good plan to stick to retain possession and not kick.
Now we're at uncontested scrums here. Not exactly sure why. That will be to Harvard's favor in this half, really, as Marsh finds the green grass again, and it cannot handle it. There is everybody, but started by that number 11 there, Mubako, but ball's down into the Harvard try zone.
That's got to be a penalty there.
Again, a soccer game breaks out. The ball's just getting kicked around. We're going to come back for a call here against Yale for an offside, so it's going to be Harvard ball just inside their 22 with an opportunity, you would think, to put this one downfield, gain a little ground.
Yeah, as they came through the second time there, the second chip through, the man was in front of him, chased after the ball, so he was offside that way.
"12 minutes into this half. Ball kicked there by O'Donnell, not the smartest thing, and then an arm comes out there, errantly taking out Wiseman. So a penalty advantage for the Bulldogs. The ball goes up there. Another little offload. Thames takes it in, still playing under advantage. Rothman to Marsh. Marsh, a little corkscrew of a kick there inside the 22. It's a foot race. It's right at the line. What a well-weighted kick. This Harvard player is under all sorts of pressure, even though Yale goes rolling over that one. Multiple potential penalties coming here.
Penalty try, I think.
And it looks like a penalty try coming from referee Stepsis. It was pretty clear that the Harvard player holding on, doing whatever he had to do to not let that happen. I thought I saw big Tony Garitano there looking pretty upset. He just wanted to pick that ball up and record the try for himself. But team try, 7 points, no kick needed. Yale just extends their lead here.
That solves the
51.
conversion kicking problem.
So we will be at 51. Referee Steps us having a little chat with Matteo Varela, Becar Varela there. Turning into a long evening for the Crimson. See Harvard rolling back out. They're going to have to really regather to get something out of this evening. Long bus ride to not score any points is 51. 25 minutes remaining in the second half of Ancient 8 IB rugby action.
Yeah, they got to stop kicking the ball away into possession. Territory's fine, but little chip kicks is going to kill them.
Nice little footwork there coming in from the fullback Weinberger, the sophomore. Turned over eventually, however. We're going to have a penalty against Yale for coming in from the side, trying to protect that ball. It'll be a kick here, and that was the big man, Prentice. Prentice puts it in O'Donnell's hands. O'Donnell, he is ball in one hand and just bouncing off everybody he can. A little bit of pinball there as he gets the ball to his halfback partner. He tries to keep it in. Yale takes it at their own 5-meter line. Do they have runners out wide as the Crimson defense gets there and hoof downfield? Smart play into some open room for the Yale defense to run onto. Harvard, however, get the ball up into Bacher's hands. Bacher back on the field after 10 minutes in the bin. Tries to put one into the wing. Trying to do everything they can here. This Crimson team just throwing everything at him right now. O'Donnell 4 or 5 meters out. O'Donnell willing himself towards that line.
Looking at Pierce O'Donnell with the ball in his hands, you'd wonder why he ever wanted to kick it in the first place.
Hawes took that one in. Ball goes back to one of the reserve players here on the Crimson, and a knock-on sneaks in there eventually, and we're going to have a scrum here. Looks like to Yale right at their own 5-meter line. Referee Stepsis just having a chat with one of the Crimson players.
That's the best Piers O'Donnell's looked all day. Kept the ball in his hands, almost like something switched in his head, and it looked like a bit of anger behind him now, handing guys off who are much bigger than him, distributing nice ball.
And ball kept in, but handed right back to a Yale player there.
Yeah, if I'm one of his forwards, I'm telling him keep that up and no more kicking, mate.
Off the ball stuff there from Caratano and Adam Harper, but ball comes back here. As you see the little miscue sneak in here from the Crimson. So we have a player getting attended to. It's Nick Weinberger. Let's hope he's okay. Going to be replaced. Although 51 points to the good, it should be okay for this Bulldogs team. This would be a mountain to climb for the Crimson at this point.
I wonder if they could, if there's any way when Piers O'Donnell's making space like that, if he could get Jordan Mabako running off his shoulder so he absorbs a couple of men, creates a gap, and then he could just let the fast weapons just tear it through. But it's got to be more promising. It's got to be like lifting your head if you're a Harvard player these last few minutes here.
Road. Referee steps us, making sure everybody's in their proper places as we have an uncontested scrum here for Yale.
Stay there. Stay there.
Ball comes down and the exit strategy comes in, or maybe not. Through the line they go. A nice little break there for Yale. That one's through Wiseman, one of the two brothers. Now the ball goes quickly to the wing there, and Yale on the run again. One of the reserve wingers comes in. Quick recycle ball to Rothman. A little miscue there. Yale forward's going to be able to handle that one. Gallagher comes in to clean up. Rothman finds Marsh. Marsh gets it out into the centers. Wiseman again launches it off there, and that looks like number 14, his brother Jackson Wiseman. Marsh in a distributor position there. Thames takes that one in. Rothman back in. Marsh spots a little more ground, pushes it downfield. Intelligent kick, bounces high. Who's it going to come down for? No one in particular until O'Donnell scraps that one up. O'Donnell now trying to do everything he can, and that is not the kick he's going to want to look back on. A little bit of an absolute miscue there. As ball not handled, but it went back. According to myself, but not referee Stepsis. We're going to go back here for the knock-on. And I think you're right. I think O'Donnell should keep the ball in his hands.
He did so well from collecting the ball inside his own half, making this run. Through that tackle, look. It's just a bit of a waste at the end.
He's really been their strongest weapon with the ball in hand, and then beggars belief why he's trying to kick it away.
If I was a Harvard sub now, I'd be looking at the coach saying, I'll just sit in the coach, I'm fine. I'll sit in the bus.
I'll go get warm.
This is too cold. I don't need to come on today.
It is a bit chilly out tonight in New Haven here in the Yale Athletic Facilities, the Yale rugby pitch, as Harvard's ball now. Able to take possession off those scrums because of the uncontested nature of it. There was a bit of a problem for them in the first half, so they're going to launch better attacks. But ball here turned over by Yale right at their own 5-meter line. Great commitment there.
Dan Marsh
Good work. The ball comes up into the hands of a waiting Yale reserve.
Take it back.
Gallagher across the 22. Rothman puts a long one in there. Yale. Nice little breakout run, and nice little pass over the top. Doesn't go to hand to Sorensen. And Yale just trying to push that one a little too much there.
I think if they got that pass away nicely, it was try time. It was 2-on-0 in that 15-meter track.
Instead, it's going to be a line out here for Harvard. Just look at a couple of long looping passes here.
See, once this winger steps in, there's two guys there.
Yeah, looks the pressure at the front again. We'll see where Harvard goes with this one. The thrower has certainly had a bit of pressure on him. I'll get their numbers sorted out. Ball to the front, taken down by Harvard, not cleanly, but they're going to be able to recycle that one.
First line out of one all day.
Big pick and go there from Hawes.
Yeah, I think Hawes likes the contact. Anytime he's got a bit of go forward ball and got to take it in, he's enjoying himself.
In an effort to speed up play there, a little pass gets knocked on by the scrum half from Harvard. It's going to be Yale ball here right at their own 22 as we're winding down into the last 20 minutes of this matchup here on Next Level Rugby. Yale with a commanding lead as we take another look at this knock-on. Just unlucky there as Harvard boys just trying to go a little quicker.
I think you're right. I think it'll make that bus ride home a lot easier if they could just get in once or twice. They got to realize how important possession is.
Marsh spots the space downfield, launches it in the foot race again. This time it goes to a foot of a Yale player. He's going to chip it forward again. He's not gotten a full flight, Sorensen, but he nearly gets a hold of that one. Yale really putting some pressure on here. Where are their runners? They moved out to the left-hand side. Marsh puts a little pass in there to the big unit, and there he is touching down again. Mateo Becar-Varela, 2 tries for the senior second row on this Bulldog team.
Yeah, I think that's all come from the play of Dan Marsh there.
I don't know, they're starting to spread it around a bit now and give guys a chance to score a try when they're getting in close.
I think we're honing in on our man of the match here. I think there's going to be a pretty serious consensus towards the end of this game. We're taking a look at it here. There's that man Sorensen, Milan Sorensen. Didn't just bounce up for him. He would have loved to take that try himself, but good work by the team to really recycle that. Just move it out to the left-hand side here.
Yep, from a Harvard point of view, there should never be that amount of space in the backfield from first phase. Marsh has done well to identify it and picked his quickest guy to chase it. So.
And there he just spots who he wants to give it to. I think Garitano would be rightly upset for not taking a little short pass in for the try, but it's all for the team. Everybody's happy so far. As yet a third kicker steps up here. And another one no good. This is a pretty impressive score considering they've converted 1 try. 56-0. Harvard on the receiving end of a Yale absolute running train here.
I'm sure Yale will love this going home tonight. It'll make for a good party. Like I said, a great atmosphere in town with the big game tomorrow, and this will really make it a happy Friday for them.
Most of these Harvard lads are staying down here, so I'm sure they'll have a good weekend at the Yale Harvard football game tomorrow. And look at a happy man right there. Everybody's got to eat. As Rothman again to Marsh. Marsh, Prentice wanted to put a big hit on him. Couldn't quite get there as the ball goes back into the hands of Wiseman. Referee's going to whistle that and bring it back. A penalty here against Harvard. Let's see what Marsh decides to do here. Looks like he's going to calmly push this downfield, go for the line out.
I think that was a late tackle call, right?
Sure, he's thinking about the after-match function at this point. He'll line out here for Yale once they find a ball. It's a 4-player line out. Referee steps this, wants to make sure their alignment is correct. Ball to the middle of the line out there, well done. Rothman to Marsh, they've been so effective together. Here comes reserve hooker, and he powers his way through the first tackle, and Rothman to Marsh. Marsh that time releasing some outside backs. They've got a little room to run. Nice little movement there. Little chip down that touch line. Is it going to stay inbound? It has done. Pressure again on the back 3 of Harvard. Able to keep their feet. Digging in there, go the forwards of Yale, and a quick penalty. Marsh has a hold of it again, looks at the line, dives over the line, and Marsh touches down for another Yale try as the scoreboard just keeps rolling.
I think Harvard can feel a little bit hard done by there. It looked to me like the Yale guys were off their feet at this ruck, but got the penalty anyway, and Marsh capitalizes on that.
Here's a quick look at Marsh just picking that ball up and going. No worries on his end. Good day for Yale here. Good. See if this kick will be converted. It's been a tough day at the tee for the Yale Bulldogs. Everything else going absolutely according to plan and on song. Again, no good, but the score sheet just keeps on piling up. 61-0. Late in the second half here. Kickoff here as we're getting later into the second half. Just about 13, 14 minutes to go. A little bit of referee's time. O'Donnell once again kicks it off. Well taken by the big man, Garitano. Garitano really loving it, just dragging players across the line with them. They're just inside their own 50, and here's that reserve hooker gets across that halfway line. They're building that momentum. Once again go the Bulldogs. Rothman finds Garitano. Garitano met by Prentice. Battle of the Titans right there. Two big fellas just clashing head-to-head as the ball quickly into the hands of Large, but knocked on. And an advantage here for Harvard. They're going to come back for the scrum. It'll be a Harvard scrum, attacking ball, 13 minutes to go in this contest.
You got to keep the ball with you there when you're running those crash lines. Doesn't it? It's not much good to you otherwise. But again, Garitano, just a great weapon to have, sucking guys in, just bringing them into contact and creating gaps out wider.
Harvard seems to be looking for another player to come into their scrum here. That's they're missing a couple guys here. Interesting turn of events.
This is not a job I'd want to do on the fly, straight into second row.
Well, they're uncontested, so they can put anywhere they want in there, but it's just kind of an interesting turn, but not a good sign for Harvard if they're just having to bring these players in.
Yeah, but you got to get used to putting your head between two guys' legs, right? It's not something you do on the fly.
A couple of substitutes pulling up with hamstring injuries when they're getting asked to come in, and I think at this stage at 61-0.
Off they go. Hawes, he hasn't let up, the big number 6 for the Crimson. Rocchero finds a runner. Looks like Scheibler takes that one in. Ball comes back across into O'Donnell's hands. O'Donnell tucks it. He's looking to go. Eventually taken down across the 22, able to get back up.
I thought he lost it in contact
Dummies
there.
A very long pass. Now the ball is out to Prentice. Prentice puts a little tip pass in there. Well done. That's the number 8, Bobby Collins. Bobby Collins recycles that ball.
Support is so slow coming in from Harvard. He has tired legs out there.
Needle momentum. Prentice steps in the distributor position and shows why props occasionally shouldn't step in the distributor position. Doesn't put in quite the pass he wanted, but maintaining possession they are. And a penalty against Yale. Player coming in clearly from the side there from our camera angle. Not 10 right now. Let's see what happens. They take it and go quick. That's Hawes. Hawes taken down just 5 meters out. Can they get on the score sheet? Harvard Crimson playing for pride here. Ball turned over. Yale on the run again. Here he is, number 17. He's featured a lot in this second half. Just played tremendously. He's outside of another one. The ball quickly moved on to another reserve, and Yale just making their way downfield. Tremendous play, but penalty against them for not releasing in that one. Now Harvard's going to go quick.
John, I got to take issue with your personal attack there on props, distributing the ball.
As a former prop front rower myself, you know, been guilty of it too. So.
Yeah, well, as a scrum half, it's my absolute nightmare when I see you guys passing.
It's a different game now. These guys are supposed to be able to pass a little bit more. As in one hand he goes. He's headed for the try line. He's got one player to beat. Finally taken down. Did he keep it in? No, ball has rolled in a touch. And after a little bit of messy back and forth, ball finally rolls in a touch, and we're going to have a line out here for the Crimson inside their own 22. 10 minutes to go.
Bit of exciting over and back free-flowing rugby here.
That's fucking generous. And here we see coming down the right wing is one of the Yale reserves. Just couldn't quite make it there, holding a touch, but you know, just a bit of back and forth play. As you said, free-flowing rugby players just tossing the ball around, trying to have a bit of fun here.
He's looked excellent since he's come on, beating guys, bit of pace, good footwork.
And looks like a yellow card came in on that high tackle. On who? Yale or Harvard? Harvard. And another Harvard player going to spend a few minutes in the bin here. Oh, we got awarded a penalty try there. Sorry, it was a little confusing from our angle. And Garitano, yet again, rounding out his senior fall season with some absolutely charging runs. As Yale has managed to score again. And Marsh spots a little space, doesn't quite come to hand this time, but the ball comes quickly down, and everything is just going Yale's way at the moment. That's the big man, Lucas Wiseman, trying to find someone off a knee there. The referee going to whistle that one up. And we at 68-0.
Dan Marsh so good though. He's giving a kick and then he's following it up and winning his own ball back when it goes down.
You see the ball slipping around there, and finally Wiseman sees it. You know, they just we talk about the ground underneath. You just can't. That kick's just not quite working there. You know, it would be nice if it just bounced up into his hands, but the turf had other ideas.
Yeah, earlier in the year in the drier turf, you're probably expecting that to pop up into someone's hands nicely.
Just about 8 minutes to go in the second half. Ball comes out here from Harvard. They're on their own line. O'Donnell, the never say die attitude. He wants something out of this. Taking it across field. Not made too much ground, and O'Donnell just picks it and goes. O'Donnell's determination is something to certainly watch in this game. The combative fly half takes it into the contact, gets the ball up into the hands of the hooker, Adam Harper. Harper just to the line there, to the 22. The errant pass comes out here, and Harvard in a bit of trouble as the Bulldog defense is swarming right around him there. And ball bouncing back and forth here. We'll see who's going to come up with it eventually. A little messy at the end of this Ancient 8 Ivy Rugby rivalry here at the Yale Rugby pitch.
Yeah, all structure's gone out of it now. It's just two teams attacking.
Yeah, and a penalty. It's a gigantic game of bad sevens at the moment. There's a penalty against Harvard that time. Let's see what Yale decides to do. They're going to go quick. They want the tries here. Marsh out of the touchline there, brought down. And Yale just works their way slowly towards the line. Calmly, here comes one of their reserves wearing number 20, takes the ball to the ground, and a penalty against them for not releasing. Good work by Harvard there.
Really strong turnover there. Over the ball, not getting moved.
Bobby Collins and Harvard now. With time winding down, let's see what they decide to do.
You got to take a big kick for territory here. Try to find touch.
I think they're going to go for it, boys. And Toar from their own line. Let's see if they can make this entire 95 meters. It's Hawes that gets him started.
He's in there by himself. He's got 4 or 5 Yale players on him. He's done well to keep it.
Remember, Harvard down a player again. Just had a penalty try against them. O'Donnell Shows and goes. O'Donnell trying to get through all 15 of these Bulldogs. Doesn't happen that time. And a little pick and go off the back there. Harvard across the 22. Working their way downfield. 5 minutes on the stadium clock. Turned over by the Bulldogs. That's been the story of the day. We're going to come back as that player came in over the top there. Referee steps a spot it. Well, a penalty against the Bulldogs, and it'll be Harvard ball.
75 minutes into it, and Hawes is still looking electric in taking it on.
And they're going to toe and go one more time as the ball comes up to Harper. Harper can't quite hang on to that one. Messy ball on the ground. The Crimson clean it up, but a knock-on is going to be a scrum here to Yale.
I wonder if Garetano even gets tired, or if he just changed his battery pack at halftime, because he still looks just as fresh.
I think he's just having fun. You know, this is his senior year. This is the last game of the fall. He's certainly enjoying himself. He packed in the hooker spot at the moment. I think they're just keeping him on the field. Let these seniors play it out. Yeah, let's see what they decide to do with this as the ball comes off to the left-hand side. Recycled, quickly picked up there. There he is, the big man getting ready on. He's barreled through one. There he goes. He's looking for the line. He's going to get what he wants, and he does. There he is, the senior Tony Garetano.
He deserved that.
That's highlight film stuff there from the big man. Certainly be proud as we'll get to take a look here. One down. He's seeking out the contact, taking people to the ground, headed towards the line. We'll have another look at it head on here. See the look in his eyes.
I see the look in the number 14's eyes, more likely.
Deer in the headlights. Shakes off a couple. No problem for Garetano.
I think I've seen that in one of the Hulk movies before.
He hasn't quite crept into my man of the match, but he's pushing himself up there. He's got a couple of minutes to go, does Garetano.
Shaking guys off.
Smell the try line from there.
Yeah, that one's going to look fantastic in slow motion later.
Yeah, that's a good clip right there. Should put that with his resume for whoever he's applying to jobs with. And referee steps us, whistles us for the end of the game. We're 73-0. The Yale Bulldogs have defeated the Crimson of Harvard here at the Yale rugby pitch. Great game, boys. Liam, David, what's going on? Who do you think were the players of the game?
For me, there's only one man. It has to be Dan Marsh. He dictated and controlled everything out there.
For me, I got to go with a forward. I think Garetano was rampaging all over the field. It was brilliant. A couple of handled mistakes, but he really kept the engine room driving in the later stages of the game.
All right, I'm going to break the logjam here. Go with Dan Marsh. Everything that happened for Yale happened off of Dan Marsh. He was just an electric player. So that's Liam Quinn for David Kelly. This is John Broker. We are at Next Level Rugby Productions. Ryan Ginty, the man on a rugby mission. That's the end of our Ancient 8 Ivy Rugby matchup. Yale has prevailed 73-0. We'll see you at the next rugby game.
Through local sponsorship, Tradeview Market is committed to helping the sport of rugby grow. Investing in local amateur rugby teams around the world allows Tradeview to make a positive impact in the team's community and provide support where it is really needed, rather than advertising with professional teams that don't need the money. Rugby has played a huge role in Tradeview's phenomenal success. Many of our staff play or coach rugby, and we recognize the positive influence the sport has had in their lives. This is our way of giving back to the sport. Our goal is to put a Try Tradeview logo on every top local rugby team jersey in the world.
What these guys have done